Hello, everyone, and welcome. Let's start our class today with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Layadi Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Master Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Bless our satsang with thy presence, with thy love and joy. Om Shanti Shanti. We're celebrating the birth anniversary of Swami Kriyananda Ji. We'll start with a song and then an excerpt from a video talk by Swamiji. Welcome again, everybody.
Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road is known? Let come who will, but if they all turn home, the goal still awaits you. Go on alone. Follow your dream, though it lead to worlds unknown. Life's but a shadow, once our dreams have flown. What if men cry, your dream is not our own? Your soul knows the answer. Go on alone. Give life your heart, bless everything that's grown. Fear not the loving, all this world's your own. Make rich the soil, but once the seed is sown, seek freedom, don't linger, go on alone. Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road is known? Let come who will, but if they all turn home, the goal still awaits you. Go on alone, go on alone, go on alone. Thank you. Thank you all. Sometimes I think when I hear all this stuff about me, of a symphony orchestra ready to come out, everybody's on his feet, applauding, and finally silence, and then a little mouse comes out. I'm nobody, I just don't count. I mean that sincerely. But you know, what I can say, yes, I have to say, yes, I've done all these things, but I can say also, and very sincerely, that the only reason I've been able to do them is that I haven't done them. I remember I wanted as a young man to be a playwright and a poet. This was my mild ambition, but I wanted to share truth with people. And I woke up one morning to the realization that I didn't know truth. So why should I flood the world with my ignorance? I decided I wouldn't write anything more. And when I had been with Yogananda some years and he told me to write, I still didn't feel that I was ready. But in time I have been able to, and the reason is, just like that piece of music that you heard before, it's called Life is the Quest for Joy. And I wanted a piece of music that would express all the human condition, the joy, the sorrow, the hopes, the ambition, the disappointment, the tragedy, everything. I thought, that's hopeless, it can't be. Then one day, I thought again, well, I can't do it, but maybe God can give it to it. And so I did what I've always done, but even more strangely. I put my fingers on the keyboard of the piano, and I said, God, give me a melody that says all that. And my hands began to move. And that melody came out. Da 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 da, and so on. It's a long one. I'm going to bore you with it. But I must say that it said what I wanted. And if I am here tonight, it is not to represent Swami Kriyananda. He's, as I said, nothing. But I have had the great privilege, honor, and joy of living for 3.5 years with one of the great men on this planet. And it is my privilege and joy to be able to share these things with you. And in fact, in my book, The New Path, what I have tried to do is present my life with Master, as I call him, in such a way that people would be able to say, well, I could have been there too. I want to include people. I don't want to say, I had that luck, poor slobs. I wanted to be able to say, this is something we could all have.
Hello again, everyone. It's such a special time to honor Swami Kriyananda ji, this time of his birth. And I want to start with a reading from this wonderful book, In Divine Friendship. And I'll be showing some other books at the end of the class tonight that you might want to read to tune in more to Swamiji. This is a very brief reading. Swamiji's saying, you see, my highest duty and my constant desire as your soul friend is to take you beyond mere human friendship to a deeper awareness of the eternal friend who resides in our own souls. You will benefit from our relationship according to the level that you tap. I am your friend, but if you define our friendship in terms already familiar to you, you will remain always at that level of familiarity and will gain little more from it. See our friendship, therefore, as progressing ever upward toward the impersonal love of God, which alone is reality. Remember that whatever I can give to you comes to you through me by Master's grace. Only to the extent to which I can attune myself with him do I receive the grace to help you truly on the path. The more your own faith and attunement goes to our own, your true source in him and beyond him and God, the more greatly you will be able to receive. I had the blessing of being with Swami Kriyananda ji here at Ananda village for some years. also in Italy and Europe, serving there. He asked me to come and help. And then also lately, as you know, I've been in India for the past 20 years. And the first years were with Swamiji. So I was able to see him, interact with him, learn many, many lessons, become more attuned to Master through being around him. I watched him, I observed, and I absorbed as much as I could from Swamiji. And so today morning for you, I would like to share just a few of the principles that he lived by and that he shared with us. Sometimes it was easier than others to be with him, but he was very dynamic. He was very, very magnetic. He was always busy for Master. He always had projects or writings or movies or television programs or schools, or he was just always putting out for Master's work. Let's get busy for Master's work. So there wasn't a lot of sitting around thinking about it, thinking how you feel. I don't feel good today. I don't want to do it. Being in a mood. You just had to keep moving with the energy. So one of the first principles that, and these are things I learned from being with Swamiji, was say yes to life. And his whole life was very positive. He was very uplifted. He saw solutions instead of, oh, problems, or as they say sometimes in Italy when I lived there, we can do it, but ma è difficile. It's difficult to do. He never lived on that level. And if you were with him, serving with him, he he wanted you to come up with solutions. So I was remembering one, and I have many stories. I don't know how many I can get to tonight, but there was one very interesting story in my life where I had put together a Kriya booklet for Kriya bonds with questions and answers, and Jayaji and I did it together. He did the writing, and I put it together and got the cover and everything. And so I got word that Swamiji didn't like the cover. And I thought, gee, what does the cover have to do with it? It's the inside that counts, isn't it? And so I wrote to Swamiji and said, we've already printed 2,000 of these, and we don't want to take the covers off and get another cover. I went on and on and on. So what happened? Lo and behold, I never heard back from Swamiji because that was the wrong spirit. So days went by, weeks went by. Finally, I thought, wow, it's me. It's not the booklet, and it's certainly not Swamiji. And so I wrote Swamiji and I said, Swamiji, I'm so sorry. I'm happy to take all the covers off. We have a team here. We take all the covers off. We'll get the cover that's in. We'll put the cover on. And please tell us, what do you think? And I gave him some options. 5 minutes went by. 5 minutes. And Swamiji wrote back, well, if you would ask me, why not put Master on the cover? It made perfect sense. I had another person who was a guru by on the cover who was meditating. So, but I'm telling you this because he just waited. He just waited for me to get the point that do more, don't give an excuse. And we know in Swamiji's life, there's one example after another where he was just solution, solution, solution. I heard some of these stories, I lived some of them, but one was I heard this one, he was at an airport in San Francisco and he had a lot of luggage. He was going to Europe. And the man in front of him had a lot, he was way overweight with his luggage count. And the man started arguing with the clerk, and oh, I'll never fly Pan Am. It was a Pan Am, was there. I'll never fly Pan Am again. He was so upset. And Swamiji was the next person behind him, and he was also overweight. So Swamiji said, he just kept thinking positive thoughts to this man, and he's just like I am, and he's a friend. And so Swamiji gets up to the booth next to the counter. And the man says, after they've had a shouting match with the other man, he says, oh, let's see, what do we have here? Oh, okay, let's just take everything. And And he just got everything through. No argument, no extra money, nothing, because he was thinking in an uplifted way. And you all know the story of Carmel, probably, where he got to a beautiful seaside place or resort he wanted. He had finished the 14 steps lessons. He wanted to take a break, and he goes there, and they didn't have that many rooms available. So he gets a room that was kind of expensive. He sees it's kind of expensive. And so he goes and he's ready to pay the man. They talk for a while. He talked to everybody. I never saw him pass somebody by like I don't want to say anything to you. He was, hello, how are you? How's your day? And so he was talking to this man. And so then he said, well, how much is the room? And the man said what it was. So Swamiji pulls his wallet out to pay. And the man said, oh, no, don't pay me. And Swamiji says, no, I'd rather pay you now. And what he was wanting to say is, well, I still have the money. And the man said, no, don't pay me at all. And he says, well, why? He says, oh, I don't know. I like you. Wow. Has anybody done that for you before? It happened to me once. I don't have time to go into that story, but I like you. And so he didn't pay for his room. And then he goes for lunch and he's just thinking of God and friendship and kindness. And he gets there and the man doesn't let him pay for his lunch. I don't know. I like you. I mean, it's the same attitude was there. Now, because he always carried this vibration of kindness, of helping people, of selflessness, of brotherhood, of being one with people instead of putting people down, or I don't like you, I don't like your outfit, or whatever it is. It just was always so positive. I remember he was in a shop once and he saw a beautiful dress here in America, beautiful colors. And I heard this. He told the ladies, he said, anybody who wants to wear that dress, I'll buy it. Because he was always thinking outside of himself. And one time he had a hip surgery on one hip, and then the other hip went out. So he had to have the surgery on the other hip. And then the first hip went out again. And you would think the person, oh, just forget it. So Swamiji says, well, hip, 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 hooray. What a wonderful response. I said, oh, God, God. I never saw him grow, moping on, just life is hard. He was always just, well, whatever. And the last story of Swamiji like that, they were driving up to a ski resort, and I love this story. And the car, then the tires were kind of bald, and the road was slippery, so the car just started swerving around, and then the car, it was Jyotish and Daviji were in the car too. The car hit a bus, a really well-built bus, and nothing happened to the bus, and the car was demolished. And so then Swamiji, I mean, these are things to try to do in your own life. So they get out of the car is finished, and they call whoever they need, a tow truck or whatever. And, and Swamiji looks at the bus. He says, look, that bus is going just where we want to go. Let's get on the bus. And so all the people there, Jyotish, Daviji, whoever it was, they get on the bus, and he knew the car was going to be taken care of. So they get on the bus, and everybody in the bus is staring at them. And one lady says, isn't that your car out there? Don't you care about your car? And he said, listen, it's fine. I would be happy in 2 weeks. How come I can't be happy now? And this is such a wonderful spirit to try to bring into our lives. I'm not just saying these things so we say clap for Swamiji. It's like, do it yourself. Try to say yes to life. And the next one is the goal is always with Swamiji was reaching people in the right way, but reach. Don't you get shy and hide out in the back or whatever. And it was, for us kind of, anyway, I'll say more about that later, but we got to Italy serving there. I was young, 28 years old, and there was a few of us, and Swamiji says, get going, just get going. And I didn't know hardly anything. And he would come in the house where we were here, just sell my talks on the tape. There were tapes of that. Sell pictures of me, do anything, just get your energy going. Finally, somebody shows up with a sewing machine, and we just started making pillows and asanas, and we just we were moving the energy. I mean, it was no sitting around sipping tea. It was like we are on a mission for master. Get going. And then he would have us singing. He'd just say, sing. He had just written the oratorio, Christ Lives oratorio, and he was on fire with that. He's just let's sing. And I remember he said to me once, "Can you sing?" And I said, "No, I can't sing." He said, "Sing anyway." And so I said, "Just sing." Of course I could sing, but I was just kind of a shy person. So he would say, "Let's go on the street and sing." This was in Assisi. Just sing in front of that church. I mean, there's like, really over there? And so you go and sing, and we were all kind of embarrassed. And then he said, and it didn't sound good all the time either. So one time we said, "Well, Swamiji, how was the music?" He says, "Well, you looked like angels." It was such a beautiful response. But he didn't want you to be embarrassed. Like, give, serve, help people, reach out beyond yourself. I remember once we sang at the beginning of this, John Denver was a very famous singer. For some reason, we got the idea to stand up there in front of, I don't know, it must have been 1,000 people on right in front of the stage and sing Swamiji's music before John Denver came out. Swamiji loved it. I mean, he was just get the music, get the vibration out there, just forget about how you look. That was a big lesson. And in India, he just got us out immediately. Go, don't sit by me. Get out there, teach, get out there and go all around. Teach the people how to meditate, teach them Raja Yoga, teach them Kriya, get out and figure out where you're going to have the. He never said where. He just said, just go. It wasn't like, here's your map and go to Mumbai, then you go to Pune. He said, you figure it out. And besides that, we figured out how to pay for the halls and the ads and the hotels. And this is how he was. It was always, let's do it, and let's do it for master. The next one was making things happen. Now, because he was so magnetic, and what am I saying? Get magnetic yourself. He was so magnetic that things happened around him for the good. Now, if your energy's low, things happen, but they're not for the good. Maybe a dog runs after you. I don't know what'll happen, but I mean, but if your energy's up, beautiful things happen. And so I remember once, I still don't know how this happened, but we were in Rome and Swamiji was about to give a talk. And that was one thing he said too. He said, learn the language. And he had us moving in different, you go north, you go south, you go east, you go west, teach yoga. He told me, get out there, get to Rome and learn how to speak Italian. And we went to school, we learned and we lectured in Italian. And I mean, this was like, I grew up in Europe. And so then there we were in Rome and Swamiji, he was about to give a talk. So I was the only person in the house with him. And he was taking a nap. And my job was to get a taxi to take us to the talk. And so I was trying to get a taxi. I couldn't get a taxi. And then I saw, notice Swamiji woke up. So I went in, I said, oh, Swamiji, I wasn't able to get a taxi. And so he says, well, don't worry about it. So then, honestly, I walk outside and on the street in front of the house pretty much was a taxi. I didn't call for that taxi. And this was a neighborhood. It wasn't like a major street. And I just thought that was a miracle. But it was his mind, we have to get to the talk. So Divine Mother provided the taxi. And another time he was wanting to get an apartment. I've told this in Gurgaon because he was in a one of those places. I can't remember what you call them, but it's when business people come to town and they stay there for a few days, service apartment. And Swamiji wasn't comfortable there. So he said, Dhyana, you just got to get a better place. And I said, okay, Swamiji, I need that place like now. So I got in a car and I'm just thinking, Master, you got to help us. Swamiji's uncomfortable. You just got to help us. And I get in the car. We're driving down the street near the center in Gurgaon, this is the one we have now. And I just felt Master's power. And I felt Swamiji helping me. And I just was going to get that place and I was going to get it today. I was driving down there. Lo and behold, I saw a sign that said for rent. I said, stop the car. I went in that place. I got the phone number. I called the man. He met me in an hour. We got the place. I write Swamiji and I said, we got a place, Swamiji. He says, when do I get in? I said, really? Buy the furniture, get the place painted. I mean, it was like 8 days, every day, Swamiji. Are you almost done? Are you almost done? Am I almost in? So we finally finished. Swamiji comes in, and I thought he would look at all the curtains and the pillows, and everything was so beautiful. He gets in, he walks, he says, okay, time to get to work. And he pulls out his computer and he just starts working. He didn't need the place to have a nice place to sit and sleep. He wanted to work. And that's what he did. And so finally, the last thing I'll say is Swamiji he was really careful with this, putting people before more important than things. He was very supportive, very kind, very loving, but it was a challenge. You had to lift your energy up. So I remember once there was a lady who had invited him to a fashion show. She was a fashion designer. And meanwhile, Swamiji had had a surgery on one of his eyes. So he had this bandage over the eye. And I just thought he's never going to go to a fashion show with that bandage on his eye. I mean, we were, kind of embarrassed. And there was three of us with him. So he says, okay, let's go. He had the bandage with the glasses over. I said, he's going. He's completely, he would be seen like that. Not only were we seen like that, we were on the front row. Everybody saw us. And it wasn't like we dashed to the car afterwards. Afterwards, he says, oh, let's stick around and chat. I said, chat? I mean, so he just got you out of your comfort zone of everything has to be just the way he had promised that woman that he was going to come. And did we need any of those fashions? None. But he promised her as a friend that he would come. And another one was this one manager. Now I'm speaking to all you managers now. He was a manager in one of our centers in Assisi. And so Swamiji needed a chair, a comfortable chair in his house. So the manager says, okay, I know where to take you. So he takes Swamiji to a shop that had nice chairs. And Swamiji sits there. He said, this is a nice chair. And the man said, yeah, and it's a good price. So Swamiji said, okay. So then the Swamiji said, but let's no. So no, for that one, he says, no, it's too expensive. That's what it was. He said, no, this is too expensive. I know another place where it's cheaper. So Swamiji, he didn't care about that, but he said, well, if you want. So the man takes him, the exact same chair is there, and the chair is cheaper. So the man says, see, Swamiji, it's cheaper. We can get it cheaper. And Swamiji went, ah, God, I love this. He said, but that man was my friend. Wow, that man was my friend. So you pay a little bit more because you have a friend. You keep your friend. And they went back and they got the other chair. I mean, we have to realize this is how you live your life. It's not just one person doing or whatever. And finally, I'll say, when I was learning Italian, which Hindi is a struggle, but I'm working at it. I mean, I'm really working at it now. And but Italian was easier. I had a younger brain, and there was nobody speaking English. So I remember one of my first Sunday services. We went to school, Italian school, for a month, and we had to speak. So my first Sunday satsang, or one of the first, I was in Italy, and I was a nervous wreck. And so who comes in to the talk? Swamiji sits on the front row. Oh no, that was my worst fear. So I'm standing up there and I'm speaking in as much good Italian as I could. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. And so afterwards, who comes up to me first? Swamiji. Oh, that was wonderful. Just to encourage me. Instead of saying, oh God, all those mistakes you made, I wrote them all down. That's how people do. He said, that was wonderful. And that encouraged me. So let me just show you the books I would recommend to be able to talk, connect more with Swamiji. This one, The New Path. I've shown you this one. In Divine Friendship, just wonderful letters from Swamiji. And this one, Master's Words, the Conversations with Yogananda. And also, you can go on YouTube. There are hundreds of talks by Swamiji that you can listen to. I listen to them every day. Plus, there's music, Ananda Radio, Swamiji's music. Honestly, there's no reason why we don't get more an upliftment and attunement with what Swamiji wrote, the music he wrote, the books he wrote, the talks. I mean, he's my teacher. I still want to hear from him. So I play the talks, and every time, oh yeah, I remember. Okay, that's a good point. Oh yeah, I should practice that more. So I hope these stories help you. And I want to ask Nitendra to come on now and ask a couple of questions, even though we're pretty much out of time. So
Yes, Dhyan.
Nitendra,
So, Dhyanji, we have a few questions. The first one
okay.
is you shared, like Swamiji's life does seem to have been of intense action. So, did he ever get tired? And if not, then what was his source of energy?
Yeah, he took breaks. His source of energy was God. It was Master. You could just feel him, even when he was not well, when he could barely walk. I'd see people bring him out on the stage, and he would, boom, Master's power would just fill the whole auditorium, thousands of people. So his power was from God. But he did take breaks. I remember him asking me, I asked him for advice once, and he said, the only thing he said was, do you ever take a day off? And I think that's a good one for everybody. Do you ever take a day off where you're really taking a break from just moving forward, so running forward? So, yeah, he took breaks. He would go on short vacations. He would go on sometimes longer but he was always writing, I think, writing and doing music. I mean, this for him was a joy. But he did take breaks. And he said his bottom line was his own peace of mind. So when he found he was losing his peace, he would really pull back and take a break.
Thank you, Dhyanji. The next one is that it is a blessing, of course, for all of us to be living in the grace of Ananda and what Swamiji has created. But as a part of that, do we also have any responsibility, and maybe what is it that Swamiji would have wanted us to do?
I think it involved. There's so many ways to serve. Every center has a long list of things. I know Gurgaon has a long list of things that people can do. And I'm so happy to see like 70 volunteers showing up to do programs and events and to help. I don't think I would have grown nearly as much, nowhere near, had I sat on the sidelines. But every time I'd go to Swamiji and I'd say, oh, Swamiji, I have a difficulty. I want to talk with you. He would say, here, why don't you do this? He would give me some seva. And then I'd go back, oh, Swamiji, I don't know. He'd give me something to do. And every time I'd go to him, here, why don't you do this? What was he saying? I had to get my energy moving. Just talking wasn't going to do it. So the more we can serve, the more energy we'll have, the more higher consciousness, the more magnetism, and the more we mope. I remember I'm here in the Sangha office here in America, and I said this before, but anytime I felt my energy kind of dropping down, this was years of just the telephone on the desk. I would just get out a list of people who needed help. I was working in the Kriya Sangha. I go right down that list. Hello, it's Dhyana. I'm at the Ananda Sangha office. How are you? How's your practice going? Any way we can help you? And I go to the next, hello, hello. And then I just felt my energy was just rose right up. Why? Because I was serving. I was getting out of my problems and my worries by serving my guru. Remember, Master said the channel is blessed by what flows through it. And to be in tune with me, serve my work. He didn't say go meditate, serve my work. So it's very important to do seva as much as you can.
One last question, Dhyanji. So, you told us ways to attune to Swamiji. So, will we get closer to our line of gurus if we attune to Swamiji?
Yeah, he's the channel for Master. and Master is in tune with all the lineage of the gurus. So yes, I mean, try it is what I want to say. And don't just try to leap over. I see people say, oh, I just Master is everything. But you look at them, they don't look like he's everything to them. There's not shining faces. You've got to have time with people who were with Master, who were with Swamiji. You need the time. There's so many pitfalls. You want to fall in those for lifetime after lifetime? I don't. And when I came to Swamiji, I went to him. I said, Swamiji, I feel Master sent me to you, and you are my channel. Help me. Help me to feel, Master. Help me to be more disciplined. Help me to meditate. Help me. I needed help. When people say they don't need help, they just look at a picture of Master and say he's helping me. I don't see the result there. Sooner or later, they fall off. So he's there to help, just like I read there. The more you're open, the more help you're going to get. So thank you, Nitendran. Thank you, everyone. And God bless you all. Bye-bye.